Insider. Music, dramas, movies, musicals, YouTubers, and more. Anyone who is anyone in their field. The Insider at the Bunch joins us every Wednesday to share insight from the world on Insider. And today, for the first week of December, we've got the most hottest guy on YouTube these days. Dan from Dan앤조el is here in the studio. Hi.
Hello. I can't believe I was just called the hottest guy on YouTube. Goodness me. That is a straight up lie.
No,
Sorry
it's
to disappoint
not.
everyone.
No, it's not.
Aigo.
Okay, well, I need to ask if I'm getting your name right.
Yeah.
Because I know it's Daniel.
Yeah.
And then the American me says Dan, but in Korean it's Han.
So in Korean it would be Dan, but because I'm British, I say Daniel, so I shortened it to
Dan.
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 But when I so even my sort of non-Korean friends are like, "Are you Dan or are you Dan?" I'm like, "Hey, whatever you want to call me."
Whatever floats your boat. Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought that maybe there was like a special way to say your name, and I wish I had your accent.
Really?
I've always loved a person with an accent, and you come from Wales? Am I
Yeah, I'm
correct?
from Wales in the UK, but I always remember when I used to tutor Korean people English, they would say, "Oh, we love the, Sherlock Holmes British accent." You don't really have that accent, do you? You say you're British, but you kind of lack the accent. I used to always think, wow.
Really?
I wish I had a slightly more, hello, Watson. But I don't, unfortunately, because I'm from Wales.
No, honestly, we have a good majority of our talent on Arirang Radio is from the UK.
Oh, really? Oh,
So,
nice.
like, our reporter is from the UK. One of our DJs is as well. And I know that it differs from whatever part of the UK you're from.
Oh, yeah. While I was waiting to come in on this slot, I met a lady who's
Our reporter.
a news reporter.
Yes.
And she said, hello. And I said, "Are you from?" And I literally guessed the neighborhood.
Where she was from.
So it's like guessing someone's from Seoul, but from like Yeongdeung-pogu or something like that.
Or like, more specific, like if they're from like Daegu or, like the dialect is different. Like the accent is very different.
But she's so so there's this literally neighborhood in South London that has a lot of Korean people, and there's this really specific accent.
Really?
So it's really surreal. Like you would never usually be able to do that, right, for a specific neighborhood. And as soon as she spoke, I was like, "Are you from that neighborhood?" And she went, "Yeah, how did you know?"
The beauty of language. Even our listeners from the live are like, "Oh, hello, Watson." And we already have a lot of people saying that they love your accent.
아이고 감사합니다.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, and your Korean is out of the world as
No,
well.
thank you.
Okay, first comes first. Since you're here in the studio and times are in a very different time, I did see one of the videos you did on K-Quarantine, like this online expo thing.
Yeah.
So could you kind of tell us a little bit about like what that video is and like all that?
Yeah, so just to be straight up, like that was an organization that does Korean procurement. So it basically helps Korean companies to market their products. And they contacted us and said, "Would you be interested in making a promotional video for us?" And we said, "That's a really nice idea." The event itself wasn't initially strictly to do with coronavirus, but obviously Korea has received a lot of attention worldwide for how they've dealt with the virus, the equipment, the masks, and things like the national policies. And they said, would you want to do a video for us that's quite light-hearted, but at the same time focuses on a serious issue?
Yeah.
And so it was a procurement event. It's not the most sort of fun, entertaining YouTube content, right? So we decided, why don't we I think the word was defog our office using one of these steamer things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wearing the full bohobok, or the
sanitary mask.
Yeah,
like the
PP something, full protective. Anyway, the protective equipment, like the suit. And then Joel.
Yeah, you
arrived
suited up and everything. I saw the video.
I actually really liked that. I wanted to wear it as like a kind of tracksuit with my Nike trainers, but we only had a couple of them. So yeah, so I think it was a good way of trying to show people that there was this event that was really important, especially during these times.
Mm-hmm.
And even though people couldn't attend in person,
Mm-hmm.
they'd actually made an amazing online exhibition, basically.
Wow. Yeah. So as soon as I saw that, I honestly, because like everywhere you look right now, we have nothing but COVID coverage. To see something that we see in the news every day, but kind of taken with a little bit more of a lighter heart, I feel that it was a lot more entertaining to watch.
Thanks. We appreciate that. I mean, the guy who filmed it for us did an amazing job. And also, we've, from the start, said to people around us and our friends, and obviously with my family, I've said, let's be very cautious. Let's take the precautions. Let's follow what the government says we should do. But let's not panic.
Yeah.
Sort of try to emotionally remain stable, even though your lifestyle is changing a lot. Because I think some of the emotional issues people suffer as a result of the lifestyle changes they have to make could end up being worse than changes themselves. So
exactly.
That's always been my mindset, and I think Joel as well. So I think that worked quite well for us when we did that content.
Okay. Now, you're here because, like I said, you're one of the hottest guys on YouTube at the moment. Your channel is through like the views and just the hype around it in general, because your content is like, it's amazing.
Well, thanks so much.
So I want to kind of know how you two came together in the beginning to like make this channel. Wasn't it like 3 some years? Like it's been a while.
Yeah. I like the way you said in the beginning, because it made it sound like it was,
so far away.
Of time. So Joel and I have known each other for about 10 years.
Okay.
And we actually met at church in London. I'm not from London, I'm from Wales, like I said, but I moved to London and Joel was already there. His background was documentary filmmaking.
Oh!
And we met through 영국 남자, Josh.
Oh!
And 영국 남자, Josh, about a year or so after I first knew him, and I was quite close with him, they started a YouTube channel. And Joel and I would just do, we'd be guests, 출연. We'd go and do 출연, but just for fun, And we'd do mukbangs and a lot of fun stuff. And we ended up going to Korea together for a mukbang tour. With another friend of ours, and it was just an incredible amount of fun. But when Joel and I were on the channel together, I felt like we had a really good chemistry. And even though Joel and I didn't see each other that often, because he did a lot of filming in Southeast Asia, documentary film work and things like that, whenever we filmed together, it always felt like we were getting closer together. And even though it was really fun filming with 영국 남자, they're based in the UK.
Yeah.
And Joel and I thought we really want to give a shot of living in Korea and try to experience life in Korea, not just mukbang 도전s and
the content in a different country.
Exactly. And at the time, so my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she's Korean, but she was studying in the UK. And so I said, I want to move to Korea, and she was like, no, I'm studying, so you have to at least wait until I've finished.
Excuse me, my priorities first.
Exactly. And the irony is my Korean wife, but she's in the UK, and then the British guy wanting to come to Korea. But then when she graduated, I quit my job, and Joel sort of said, right, I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing for a bit. And we both moved to Korea together. And we started our channel in 2017, September. And we didn't really have a really clear idea of exactly what we wanted to do, but we just said to people in our first introductory video, we want to show through our content how much Korea means to us and what it means to us. We don't even know what that is yet, but we feel like we could show people through our channel. I think that's something that we've been able to do consistently, even though our content has changed quite a lot. So when we first started, someone just said 단앤조엘 equals hungry channel, for example. That's something that's kind of characterized us as well. But at first, when we started, it was very fun and kind of more entertaining and very highly paced and kind of exciting. And I think very quickly it moved on to a more 진정성 있는, like something with a bit of like kind of depth and sincerity, and something with more of a documentary style. And I think that comes because the style changed to telling people stories, and Joel as a documentary filmmaker naturally set into that pacing. So it's a little bit more, Koreans say like 차분한, calm, or 잠잠한, like a sort of slow, calm feel. And I think for longevity and for like who we are as people, that style suits us a lot more. So on the surface, we're kind of like fun and silly sometimes.
But then
that
content
characterizes us, I think, more in like a long-term sense. So.
I love how you for anybody who's lived in Korea long enough, you kind of are a perfect image of what happens when you live in Korea for about 3 to 4 years. You hit a peak where you start forgetting your native language and you start speaking Korean a lot more fluently.
Yeah, well, obviously, like English is still way more comfortable for me than Korean.
Of course.
And there's certain words in English that don't translate well into Korean, and there's certain Korean words that don't translate well into English. And I remember I have a British friend who speaks amazing Korean, a lot better than me, and he said to me, "Oh, I'm really annoyed because my Korean friends keep coming up to me and saying, why don't you have the word 고소하다, 고소한 맛 in English?" And he's like, because we don't eat fermented bean paste stew every morning. We don't need that word.
Yeah, no, just the other day I was trying to think like, what is 고소하다 in English? Because it's not nutty. Oh dear, we're gonna it's we could have like a whole hour conversation of just what that could actually describe.
Yes, yeah.
So okay, you pretty much kind of explained then why we have a lot of different content in your channel, and I feel that honestly, as a viewer and a subscriber's point of view, I find honestly certain people that have too many different styles of videos on their channel, I don't tend to subscribe to, because it's just like, it's too much. It's like throwing an encyclopedia at somebody almost. But I feel that yours has gradually kind of changed over the years. So it's kind of like a pick and choose, I feel, and the kind of content that you guys do. Now, one of the content that I love in the documentary form that you guys have been going for is sitting down with people who we pass by every single day in our daily lives. And honestly, it's not like we ignore them, but then again, there's no particular reason to interact with them for any particular reason. But you and the channel itself has really kind of sat down and you talk with like war veterans and like you just sit down and have like a really nice, simple meal with somebody and kind of hear their life stories. Now, obviously, these are kind of like interview type ordeals. So the content brainstorming, do you literally just approach people and start filming? Like, what's kind of the process behind that?
Great question. No, so I think the first time we ever did that was something we did without really meaning to. So it was probably in the first 10 videos we ever shot was at 광장시장 in Dongdaemungu. And it was an evening shoot. We went there and just kind of went around the market, eating, interacting with people. Very lighthearted. And then this guy who was sort of slightly drunk, older guy, came up and he said, I love 외국인, I love foreigners like this. And he had a drink with us. And it was quite fun. And then we finished filming, and at the end we were leaving, and we saw him sitting on his own, drinking a glass of soju. And everywhere was sort of closing down and the lights were coming down. And it was this quite sad, quite melancholy kind of image. And I said to Joel, I just want to go and chat with him. And Joel said, I'm going to film. Go and talk to him, I'm going to film. And I ended up going to talk to him, and we didn't really talk about anything deep, but there was this incredible sense of like 소통, 의사소통, on like an emotional level. And Joel filmed it in this beautiful style from quite far away, and it became observational instead of overtly kind of reaction sort of to the food or reaction facing the camera. And we didn't even subtitle that last 30-second bit of the video. And the main reactions to that video were, wow, that was an incredible interaction. That was very deep. That sort of taught me something. And after that, we realized there was an incredible opportunity for us to actually meet people and tell their stories without having to do formal interviews. And that's where food became a really important thing for us. So, for example, with the lady who picks up cardboard, we filmed with 배우지 나르시는 할머니, so an elderly lady who picks up cardboard for money. And I'd known her for about 2 years before. Okay. And I'd said to her, nothing to do with filming. I'd walk past her, how are you doing? 식사하셨어요? Have you eaten? And she would say, no, I need to buy you a meal. And, I'd say, oh, let's go and have kimchi.
The typical adult or elder.
Exactly, yeah. And mostly I imagined she hadn't eaten when she said, 아직 못했어. I imagined that it was because she didn't really have much money. Yeah. And at the time I was doing a master's in photojournalism, and the major project was a 흑백 인물 사진, a black and white portrait pictures of these elderly people, and I got to know them quite well, especially her. And then there was this one day where Joel and I said, I actually really want to go and film with her. And if she says no, that's fine. The worst thing someone can do is say, no, we don't want to film.
Exactly.
And that's fine. Or, I don't want to have a meal with you. But we just went to the Komulsang, so the yard, where they drop the cardboard off and receive the money. And she happened to be coming out. So I said, 안녕하세요. 식사하셨어요? 아직 못했어. 식사하러 가시죠. I said, yeah, okay. And then she said, what's that guy doing the camera? And I just explained to her. I said, okay. And then we went and filmed. So that was like minimal planning.
Okay.
And I think that benefited us because it just became a meal. We didn't have a script for what questions to ask.
We would ask her anything.
So you naturally, when you meet an elderly person from another country, and if you're interested in that country, you say, whereabouts in Korea are you from?
Exactly.
Oh, when were you born? What was it like growing up? And that suddenly starts to paint a picture of a life that we can't imagine, or
exactly.
An aspect of Korea that I could never experience. Because even if I ask my mother from Ireland, if I ask her about Ireland in the 1960s when she was growing up, it's just something I can never even imagine. And that's quite close to my own country, whereas Korea is so different. And most of our shoots have been like that. We have had some where we've actually worked with organizations and we've been sponsored. So, for example, we were working with the Korea International Writers Festival. They said, can you make a promotional video for us? And I said, well, we don't want to just do an advert. Do you have an older writer who has an interesting story? And they introduced us to Hwang Seok-young, 작가님, the novelist, who's like one of the most famous novelists in Korea. And so naturally it becomes a really, really interesting story.
Yeah.
But we try to avoid making it feel like a kind of formal press interview. That's where having this meal is so important.
Because it kind of makes it more natural.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of takes the awkwardness away from it, if there is any awkwardness in that.
Absolutely, because it's like if I, even with speaking Korean, like he would say something and I might not fully understand it. I might need a moment to process it. And there's not this kind of awkward
staring at him.
I need to say something,
I can just reach for the side dishes.
Yeah.
I can just take another bite.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, a lot of our listeners are sending in some amazing questions and messages as well. I think some of them are also sharing some of their favorite videos as well.
Nice.
You did bring in a book because we have to talk a little bit about that as well. But let's take a quick song break. Then we're going to come back and then our listeners can get their questions answered and we can kind of dive into this a little bit more. So in the meantime, as our Insider continues on for today, we've got X on the track with Fine and more of Insiders coming up next. Unfortunately, I have a very thick American accent. So Dan of Dan앤조el is in the studio with us for today. Could you please give us the original accent of how to say your name? I think it's so cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Dan and Joel.
I don't know why that subtle difference is just so cool.
Thank you so much. I'm actually appreciating speaking in English. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name's Dan.
It feels so good. Intan is on our V Live, and if you see the comment, could you guys please wave your hand to me? Hi, thank you for listening. Dan, could you also give us a big ol' wave too?
I don't know if where the camera is. Oh, there it is. Hello, everyone.
Dahlia's also dropping by. Joel is here too. Hi, guys. If you have any more questions and messages for our Insider, please continue to send those in. Some really good questions are actually coming in.
Nice.
So let's kind of get into this.
Sure.
I'm not sure if you'll have an answer to this, but Tazin from Bangladesh asked this. This actually came in a couple days ago. So if there's any workshops that foreigners can come and do after COVID, do you know of any workshops or things for foreigners in Korea that you would kind of recommend us to try and go to? And I'm guessing these might be like programs as well, or maybe like things to, because you just literally dropped everything and moved to Korea.
Yeah, so I had studied Korean before. So my major, I did a double major. In the UK, we call it a joint honours degree. And my major was Korean and linguistics. So I'd actually studied Korean for 2 years.
Before coming?
A year in London and a year in Korea.
Okay.
So it wasn't 낯설어. It wasn't like new or kind of uncomfortable for me. Although obviously I'm not fully integrated into the culture, but moving to Korea wasn't my first time in Korea.
Okay.
But I would say if you have friends who live here and you can be in and around those people, and if they're Korean, obviously it's very helpful as well. I would say if there is a possibility of coming to Korea, but then just being in a sort of foreigner bubble in Korea. And I have seen that, and I think it can be difficult to learn the language.
Okay.
At the same time, if you don't have any friends who speak your native language, whether that's English or whatever, it can be a bit, wow, I'm just having to force myself to speak Korean, which people say is good, but if you don't have any background in Korean, it might be a bit uncomfortable. So finding a bit of a balance there, so it would be helpful. I'm not sure about any programs and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the universities offer some great programs for school. So if you don't mind going back to school, if school is not on your current plate, I think some exchange programs are pretty great too. They offer housing and a lot of other things as well. So
yeah, I actually studied at Korea University. They had a program with my university in London, and so I had to study there, and that was a really good program. I think it was very different to studying in London, but the area was a bit sort of distanced from other areas with a lot of young people, whereas I think if you do it around like Yonsei or Shinchon or that kind of area, it can be a little bit more helpful for sort of getting integrated into like Korea.
The culture and
because I felt like I'd only kind of got used to this one part of Seoul, and I hadn't really experienced the Seoul lifestyle fully. So definitely depends on where you're based in the city. Yeah.
Yana from Malaysia is saying, first of all, I love your Korean. How you speak Korean.
Oh, thank you.
What's the most progressive part of your daily life in Korea that you think you've achieved compared to while you were in the UK?
Progressive. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by progressive. Like, how have I progressed? Is that maybe
Probably.
what they mean? Well, I've got married and had a son, which I could not have imagined a few years ago. And so being a father, I'd say there's a lot of progression there. Not that I think of it like that. It's probably the first time I thought of it like that. But just learning to be a father. And I'd say that's the as a sort of role that I have. It's like the thing I want to do best is to be a good father. And speaking Korean and understanding the culture helps me to be a better father because we live in Korea. And actually, ironically, being a father in Korea has, even though I try to talk English to my son, because otherwise he's not going to learn much English, I probably learned a lot of Korean thanks to being a father.
Ironically.
Certain colours that I didn't know, certain animals that I didn't know, things that he's very interested in. This is absolutely fantastic. So he says, "Appa, 이게 뭐야?" And I say, 잠깐만, let me check.
Hold on, I know it in English.
Yeah, exactly.
But let me get back to you on that
Or
one.
ironically now, certain things I'll learn in Korean first because
Of him.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about what it is in English for a long time, you know.
Yeah.
So I remember my teacher saying in London, a Korean teacher saying, language is sufficient for the culture that it's used in.
Yes. Ooh.
I think that's a really helpful way to look at it as well.
Go professor.
Yeah.
That's something like you need on like a mug or like a bumper sticker
Yeah,
or something. Okay, now this is, since you do a lot of like food or eating or mukbang type of content for your channel, Yano's asking, have you ever thought, whoa, that's super expensive, but I have to try it? And you like saved money just so you guys could do a shoot or something there.
I have done that, but fortunately it's often been someone else inviting me to come and eat it on someone else's channel.
Nice.
But yes, yeah, we were doing a series called 고깃집. So we did like 4 episodes on different types of pork, you know, 돼지갈비, 삼겹살, 소금구이 and things like that. And then we did beef. So the beef one actually becomes more expensive because we tried Hanu. We found a restaurant for Hanu Korean beef in our local area that wasn't as expensive as most of them. It was very nice because it was a butcher restaurant. 정육식당, butcher and restaurant together. But then we found 흑우. I don't know if you ever tried 흑우, Korean black beef. It's like much rarer than
Sounds
Hanu.
rare.
And that was in Gangnam.
Of course.
So we live, and it was, we actually went at lunch. And usually, you know, if we have a cameraman or 2 cameramen with us, afterwards they would eat the big meal.
Yeah, of course.
And I was kind of like, 그래, 1인분 더 시켜. Maybe have one more portion after we
it's like, how many views do I have to get off this to pay for?
But we tried to because we have this understanding that just because more money went into a video doesn't mean that it's going to be more popular.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And so sometimes a video will, in terms of expenses, not cost us anything. and we might get really good views. And so we try not to work out every time, kind of how to be kind of tight about, breaking even. And I think if we can enjoy it, then it'll be good content. And it's not always about the number of views, but about the quality of the video and the impact that it has on the viewer as well. And I definitely wouldn't regret trying that food, even if I might never have it again. And I was really glad that we were able to share it with our team as well. So yeah.
Okay. Now, this is something that was kind of also in our script too, and I think this is on everybody's mind. And you do a lot of great content. Yana loves the fact that you're not showing us like the most like fancy K-drama sides of Korea, but really like our daily, day-to-day lifestyles. But when it comes to all the stories that you've done, I feel that this is going to be pretty similar to a producer writing songs. All of the videos that you guys have on the channel are all your babies. They're all precious. There's limitless amount of hours that went into filming and editing and posting and all of that. But is there one particular video or like story that just kind of sticks to you? Maybe it was because it was like too embarrassing or maybe we put like way too much effort into it and like we still go back to it like, yo, we should have not done that.
Yeah, so I think we've been fortunate because we don't try to push too many boundaries in terms of edgy content or controversial content or 자극적인, like sort of stimulating content. We tried to keep to this documentary style and just tell stories, and that's been helpful for us, I think. So we haven't had too much content where people say, oh, that was a bad idea, and so we haven't really had to think that too much. Like you said, every interview, every story we've told, we consider it precious.
Of course.
Not that we're taking ourselves too seriously, but if it's someone else's story. At the same time, this is quite a random quote, but I was really into football, but soccer, when I was growing up. And there was a coach whose book I read. There was a quote from him in a book I read. And he said, the imprint that you make in the spirit of the people is more important than the result.
Ooh.
And I thought it was beautiful to say about sport, but I think you could apply it to anything where you're showing people something that you've made. And so I would apply that to our content. And so when we see comments below a video, you can really see the impact that it's made in people. And the one where I think people were most moved probably was the lady with the cardboard, the meal that we had with her, for many reasons. It was a beautiful moment for us. We've actually had meals with her since.
Okay.
But it was a beautiful moment for us, and I think it was a bit of a turning point in our content. I think it was a bit defining of our sort of channel identity. And I've noticed whenever I've done like media interviews about my book even, people have gone back to that content. So I think, wow, that tells its own story.
And I think it's because it is a really big part of Korean culture, as we do see, like, even back in the States, and I'm from California, we don't see people like recycling and trying to make a day's pay in that way, but it's a very big part of Korea where you see a lot of elders trying to make a day's pay by picking up recyclable cardboards, boxes, papers, plastics, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that that's probably why it hits on a lot of different levels, because no matter if you've come to Korea like even once and just like passed by on a bus through Gangnam, even you would have probably seen somebody that was doing the very exact same thing.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it's people you see in everyday life, but maybe you miss.
Yeah.
And a lot of Korean people said to us under that video, that's something I kind of would want to do. I'd want to have a meal with that person, yet I'd never realized I would want to have a meal. Or I would subconsciously assume that I couldn't approach them.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the great thing about making content, and especially when you're trying to tell people stories, is that you challenge yourself to do something that in your everyday life you wouldn't feel comfortable doing. So some people say, like, how did you find the yongi, the like courage to do that? And it never really felt like that. It felt like it was something we wanted to do. And in one sense, we therefore had a responsibility to do it.
Okay.
Because if you come up with an idea for content, you think it's going to really be meaningful to people, you kind of have to just do it.
Yeah.
You know? So there isn't this step of, can we, break through? You just kind of go and do it.
Okay.
I think that's where working in a team, especially with Joel, is great, because he will just say to me, go and talk to that person. I'm
like, okay, I'm rolling.
You're the director. Like,
go.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds great. So you brought in a book.
Yeah.
So you released a book and you've done some press on this, but
Yeah.
there's a little bit of a twist. And you posted a video about it, but it's in Korean.
Yeah, the book is in Korean. The title is 저 마포 사람인데요. 마포구 사람인데요, sorry. And it means I'm from Mapo district in Seoul. Yeah. So when I was a teenager, one of my dreams was to write a novel.
Okay.
And then when I was an exchange student here, my ex-girlfriend and I had broken up, and I was quite lonely and, living a bit of a confused life out here. And I started writing a novel, and I got to about 100 pages.
In Korean?
No, in English.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was just for myself, there was no publisher
It was kind of like
involved.
a therapeutic just way of getting your thoughts out.
That's exactly it. So it was a kind of crazy story that was, I think, semi-autobiographical, and it was kind of compiled of all the good and bad experiences I'd had and feelings I had. And I never assumed that anyone would read it. And so when I ended up deleting it by mistake, I didn't feel particularly sad about it because...
Ouch! I feel bad about it. That's like 100+ pages that were just deleted. Oh!
The process of writing it was a lot more important to me because I thought people aren't even going to understand if they read it. It's going to be a strange collection of
gibberish.
Yeah, and I didn't hold anything back, and that can be a negative thing if you want someone to read it at times. But when I came to Korea, I still thought, I would love writing poetry. I'd never really written anything sort of creative in Korea. But we did a video with a Korean novelist and short story writer called Jung Se-rang. It was an interview. It was called a coffee talk that we used to do. Before we'd had a meal, we'd have a coffee. And Hangare, or Hani Books, Hangare 출판사, the publisher, or a publishing company, contacted us. They contacted me, and they said, we saw that video, and while we were watching it, we just thought, you seem so interested in writing, not just in literature, but in actually writing. Would you be interested in thinking about doing a book project? And I was just like, wow, I haven't even come up with the idea. How is a publisher initially contacting me?
Yeah.
And that's how it came about that I wrote a book. And it took me about a year to write.
Wow.
Because I couldn't really take any extra time to write the book outside of what I was doing.
Yeah.
YouTube isn't this glamorous world. I mean, it can be, but it isn't in our experience, even though we're really blessed in so many ways, and it's a great job to have. It's not like we've been really abundant in terms of money and things like that. And so we had to keep focusing on that. And I had my son, I was doing a master's. And so I would get up early morning or weekends or at night and write the book. And it's basically divided into 4 parts. So when I was talking to the publisher, I said, I want to tell the behind the scenes stories of how we shot the episodes that we shot, how we met the people in them. And the 3 things that have impacted me are the people, the places, and the food. So we divided it into those 3 sections, and we tell those stories, or I tell those stories. And then the last section is about the things I want to do, the things I've learned about Korean culture, what I want to do in the future.
Yeah.
So it is in Korean, but I recommend it.
It's in Korean, but yeah, you might want to check it out. All right, well, we're going to take another quick song break, guys. Go check it out if you haven't already. And what we're going to do, another quick song break, we're going to come back, and then we're going to kind of ask some more of those fun questions. So keep those coming in. In the meantime, though, we've got Kisam and Hwasa on the track with Love Talk and more of Insiders coming up next. We have our amazing insider in the studio, Dan from the YouTube channel Dan&Joel is here talking about his book, his channel, and answering your questions. And we talked about black beef earlier, and everybody's like, yeah, isn't it like black pork? But it's black beef. It's a thing.
It is a thing.
We
had to have, there's actually like 4 native types of Korean beef. Hanu is the most common. And then I think one of the only ones that you could really get commercially was Hugu.
The black beef.
And it is absolutely stunning.
Oh, I'm getting hungry. Okay, so Malavika was asking a very common question that I've been asked quite a lot as well. Have you ever gotten so mad or frustrated that you just started talking in your mother tongue regardless if the other person understood or not? It's kind of like, do you dream in English or in Korean? But
yeah, definitely. Like when I'm driving. That's all I'm going to say.
When your mother tongue comes out, it's when you're driving. Okay. Yana also asked her another question. What do you think you've learned the most from your partner in crime with the channel, Joel?
I think I've learned the importance of stories.
Ooh.
And the preciousness of people's stories.
Mm-hmm.
And the importance of trying to communicate that to people.
Mm-hmm.
And the importance of using the tools and the gifts and skills that you have personally within the team.
Mm-hmm.
And the importance of the eye in filmmaking.
Okay.
And then on a technical level, he's literally, probably without even expressly meaning to, he's taught me how to film, how to edit, just like incredible aspects of filmmaking because he's a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the anthropological side of it, so the people's story side of it, is something that is, it's not a technical thing.
Okay.
It's invaluable to realize that importance. Yeah.
So you just said that he's kind of taught you editing and stuff like that. So do y'all kind of split the editing? How does that work?
Yeah, so when we started, I literally didn't even know what Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere was. And he would do the editing, and he, to be honest, I think he had like a big workload, a lot of the weight of it back then, especially because we didn't have an office. So we would go around coffee shops and on our laptops, and then we got an office, and he taught me how to use Adobe Premiere. And so especially when we do a very Korean-based, interview meal or something, I'll tend to take the footage and cut it down. So if we've shot for an hour or 2 hours, I'll cut it down to 20 minutes or 10 minutes. And then he will edit the cameras then, which is where you get the beautiful. So I have a big hand in the narrative of it then. Which
so like how the story kind of plays out, what comes next, and then making it pretty and glossing it over would be his job.
Exactly. And that's technical and artistic, and he's just really talented at it, but also a lot quicker. But he's actually taught me how to do that as well.
Okay.
But generally for our channel, he does all of that.
So you're like first edit, he's final cut type of thing.
Yeah, so I just say I do the cut down, and then he does the editing.
Okay.
And then I do the subtitles, and then he then does the sort of what you call like the color grade and sound, and but yeah, it's really good to work in a team like that. I think it works really well.
We are running out of time, like really, really running out of time, but I do want to kind of do this. A lot of our listeners, since you do a lot of eating on your show, we want to kind of do, those like ideal type World Cups where they keep asking you to go back and forth between different like things. So I'm going to give you a few foods. Yeah. You're going to have to constantly compare them, and we're going to ultimately find out what's your favorite food.
Whoa, that is so exciting. I've never,
All right, so we start off with cold noodles, naengmyeon, and chicken. This is all types.
Chicken.
Okay, chicken and kimchi-jjigae.
Kimchi-jjigae.
Okay, kimchi-jjigae and 족발.
Kimchi-jjigae.
불고기 and kimchi-jjigae.
Kimchi-jjigae.
Okay, bibimbap and kimchi-jjigae.
Kimchi-jjigae.
Oh, this is the last one. It's the hardest. Samgyeopsal and kimchi-jjigae.
Samgyeopsal.
Oh, so your ultimate favorite food is samgyeopsal.
My ultimate favorite food is 한우 곱창. 곱창.
Because it wasn't in our choices.
Guys, if you have never tried Korean, it sounds terrible in English when you say intestines.
It does. And whenever I explain this, because gopchang is one of my favorite foods too, and whenever I say it, I'm just like, there's got to be a better word for this instead of saying intestines.
If you say gopchang like that, I think
we need to universalize the fact that it's not intestines, it's gopchang.
Exactly.
End of story.
But my foreign friends, my brother, for example, who came to Korea, they actually said that was their favorite food as well.
Yes.
So
please continue to spread the word of amazing Korean food.
I will.
Through your channel. Dan, I am going to try to pull any type of source to get you on my show weekly somehow, some way. And he's giving me thumbs up. So hopefully this can happen like sometime down the line.
Sounds amazing.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully the book flies off the sales rack as much as possible. And stay safe.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Yes. All right. So thank you for joining us. And as we say goodbye for today, we got Hoonam's on the track with All Day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.